You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 280. Slowing down to speed up. If you're a business owner who wants to learn effective business strategies, improve your time management, and elevate your productivity to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. Today, we're going to dive into some opportunities you've been looking for that can often be found during slower periods in your business so that you can embrace them and benefit from taking action on them. During today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you many resources that I have shared with you in the past, and my team and I have created a download where you can access all of those episodes' recommended playlist and the resources in one place. It's completely free, no email required. We'll tell you exactly how to get your hands on that at the end of today's episode. So as I'm making references to other resources, just know we have that available to you. So you do not need to take notes. You don't need to rewind. Just remember where you can find that. And now let's get to the straight talk. In today's episode, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. You may have noticed that things are slowing down a bit in your business. You may have noticed that even if they have not slowed down for you, there is a lot going on in our economy and politically and just around the world where you could be thinking, I think things could slow down a bit in my business. Also, I want to mention that it may not be like a slowdown in a negative way, but it just could be adjustment, like readjusting to what normal is for your business when many businesses saw a huge increase over the last years, depending on the industry, during the pandemic and COVID. So is this a correction in your business? Maybe it is a bit of a slowdown. But why I want to talk about this today is because I don't necessarily see this as a negative. I do see it as something that we can grab as an opportunity, utilize this time as an opportunity. And that's exactly what I want to share with you. You know, this time in our market, in our economy, or in your business could be causing you to worry. You know, when business is slower and there's no boom in sight, it's incredibly tempting to freak out, think the worst, and panic. And I understand that. However, that could be the thing that sabotages you taking advantage of this opportunity that you find yourself in. If you're having such feelings and need to do a little mindset work, I recommend you go listen to episode 262, Flip the Script. So if you're currently feeling like, oh shit, this is bad, what am I going to do? Setting yourself up in a bit of a panic. Maybe you find yourself avoiding being strategic and making decisions about how to move forward in this market. Definitely go take a listen to Flip the Script, episode 262. But what I would invite you to ask yourself in today's episode is, could this actually be the opportunity you've been looking for? I'm really serious about this because I want you to also ask yourself, how many times have you in the past thought things like, and you could have thought them internally, you could have spoke them out loud, you could have mumbled them under your breath. Things like, if I wasn't always so busy, ... If only things slowed down, I could do X, Y, and Z. If only I had the time to catch up, catch my breath, I would X, Y, and Z. Fill in the blank. Those beginning phrases of if I wasn't so busy, if things could only slow down, if I could only have time to catch up, are real thoughts that many of you are having or have had. So instead of thinking of the slower period in a negative light, could you see it as a positive opportunity to do the things you couldn't otherwise do when you were slammed and consistently had clients lined up at the door? I'm going to share with you a list of ways that you can choose to see this slower period as an opportunity to invest in the future of your business and your life. Yes, I said it. This could be that opportunity. You know the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. This is the other side. You were on the side of it was so busy, you couldn't find employees, you couldn't keep your head above float. Business was coming into you faster than you could handle it. Perhaps that's what you experienced. And in those moments, we often feel like if it would only slow down, then what? Then you wouldn't stress? Then you wouldn't have problems? Then all would be well in the world? Well, now you're on the other side of the fence, and now you're wishing that it wasn't that way. So stop fighting reality. See things for as they are in your business. That is a huge gift to give to yourself in your business. See them as they are so you can plan for the future. All right, as I dive into this list, I am going to be sharing with you episodes that I have gone deep into these conversations and topics on, so that if you are thinking, oh my gosh, Amber, yes, I could use this slower time to do X, Y, and Z, and you want further support, all those episodes will be referenced in today's episode, as well as in our free playlist download that we're providing at the end of today's episode. So top of the list, things have slowed down. Can you tackle those tasks and projects you've been putting on the back burner? Yes. All those half-done or half-assed done projects. You have many of them. Some of you have way more than you want. And so is this the time to circle back and close the loop? Get those projects to the finish line so that you can reap the benefits of the time invested already by you or your team. If you want to get an idea of how to clean the slate, you can go back and listen to episode 220, which is cleaning the slate for a fresh start. Next, can you get your someday maybe list done? We all have that marketing idea or product that we think someday maybe will get to the market. Can you review your someday maybe list and execute on some of those ideas that you thought you would never dream of having the time to do? How about realigning your activities to create more balance in your life? What I mean by this is that when we are incredibly overwhelmed or incredibly busy, it often feels more difficult to say, whoa, I'm going to put some boundaries on my schedule. I'm going to, commit to a schedule that allows me to feel more integrated between my personal life and my business life. Perhaps this is the time that you're saying, wow, there are natural seasons of my business. And so I am going to spend more quality time with my loved ones. Or maybe you will enjoy a hobby or pick up a new hobby. I want to remind you that, grabbing this opportunity is not just about reinvesting more time in the business and doing more in the business. This could be the opportunity that you are looking for to create more balance in your life. You can go back and listen to episode 276. Do you live to work or work to live? How about getting organized both in your physical space and digital space? This is the one that says, if I had time, I would organize my desk. I would organize my office. I would create a new file folder structure so myself and my team can find all of the things that are on our drive. This often gets pushed. Organization is often seen as a luxury. And I would offer that organization is a necessity to efficiency. And if you're thinking that someday maybe you will get to it, you won't unless you prioritize it. So if you find yourself with a bit more time, this may be the time to prioritize organization so that when it gets busier again, that you are able to work more efficiently and serve more clients, grow your business quicker, because foundationally you have organizational systems in place. Speaking of organizational systems in place, could this be a great time to be working on creating processes, creating SOPs, standard operating procedures, or perhaps even checklists? Do your SOPs and processes need to be revisited? If you've listened to some of my previous episodes, specifically episode 279, which was just last week, you heard me talking to Adrian about how it's a living document. It's something that we need to be revisiting on a regular basis so that our SOPs and processes stay up to date. Our businesses change quickly and often, and so should the documentation around it. If you would like to go deeper into creating processes, SOPs, checklists, we have several episodes that we've had in the past, but two of them I want to highlight is 267, Changing the Game of SOPs and Processes with Jennifer Smith. And then, as I just spoke of, episode 279 from last week, Making Documenting Processes Non-Intimidating with Adrian Bellhumer. SOPs and processes should not be scary. They are quite the project to take on. That is no secret, but the benefits are tremendous. The benefits, just a couple of them, it allows you to step away from your business. It allows you to train and delegate quicker and faster. It creates more efficiency. It increases your client's experience. SOPs, processes, and checklists are essential to a healthy business. Next, could you use this as an opportunity to update job descriptions? As business owners, things change frequently, as I said, and in a small business, roles within the business often morph and transform over time. So someone gets more skills, or you find out they have skills you didn't know you needed and they take on other responsibilities. This is a great opportunity to update those job descriptions for various reasons, but a couple that come to mind for me as we speak about this is that if somebody quits or you decide you need to hire somebody additional for a role, that is one less thing you need to do to move into hiring, right? You already have your job description updated, which is just incredibly helpful to take action quicker and faster. Another reason updating job descriptions is helpful is that it sets expectations. It's clear communication to those on your team. What is their role? What does doing a good job look like? What are their responsibilities? That can get muddled and very gray in small businesses where your job responsibilities change. You wear a lot of hats and it wasn't clearly articulated. Next, could you use this time as an opportunity to hire or replace a team member? One of the number one challenges that I hear my clients share with me about hiring is, I don't have the time to hire. I don't have the time to train. I don't have the time to hire. I don't have time to go through the process. And as you may know, I'm going to say you don't have time not to hire. But if this is something you've been kicking down the road and you know that there's a role in your business you want to hire for, what better time than now when you have the time to pick the best candidate? You're not in an urgency. You don't find yourself in a fire where you have to hire right now and you just pick the best of what you see in the limited time frame. If you're giving yourself time, you're also giving yourself the opportunity to pick the best of the best. Also, what about replacing a team member? You may have had this discussion with your significant other. your peers or just with yourself, the writing is on the wall. There is someone on your team that is not a fit. And so is this the right time to look for the replacement? Because you can level up that role by putting the right person in, and you have the time to support them and train them and get them onboarded before it feels like there's too much work, there's too much going on to do that at the level that I know you as a leader want to do. So, could you hire or replace a team member during this time? We have, again, many episodes on hiring, but the one I really want to highlight for you here today is 247, which is identifying your next hire. And the reason I wanted to share that episode with you is because whether you are hiring brand new in your business, you're hiring, like it's your first hire, or if it's your next hire, or if you're replacing somebody on your team, that episode will definitely support you in doing that. Next, I said this already a couple times, but let's just say the team you have is amazing, but this is the time to train them. This is the time to slow it down and get the training and support they need, whether by yourself or giving them the ability to take a training program or a course. Training does not just need to come from you, but you could prioritize the training in this time where there is that opportunity to do so. And I would love for you to go listen to episode 249, 15 actions to lead your team effectively. Next, I think this would be a great opportunity to negotiate with your vendors. Do you need to negotiate new pricing, new terms? Do you want to learn about new products that your vendor has? This is, those calls where they're like, we have a new product, and you say, I don't have time to meet with you. Is this the time to educate yourself on those new products? Next, audit your marketing strategy, or for that matter, audit any area of your business. And you can do so with the strategies that I've shared in episode 251, doubling down on what's working. I think audits in our business are incredibly important. It gives us feedback, it gives us data, it points us in the right direction of where we need to be doubling down on our time investments, and it also points us in the direction of where we should not be going because we're not getting a return on it. What worked during the booming market with marketing may not be working right now. And so what may have worked may not work now. And so really looking at doing an audit and asking yourself, in this climate, in this economy, in this time of the year, whatever context you want to put it in, is that still working for us? What I would hate is that you don't do an audit. You're putting the money and time out on a marketing strategy that you didn't revisit to ask yourself, is it still working? And now you're wasting money and time. Next, while we're talking about audits, is this a good time to audit your time? And the answer is yes. Actually, auditing your time, it's always a good time. But you might find it a bit easier to do it now if you find yourself in a bit of a slower time. There is so much to gain by auditing your time. I don't say that lightly. In fact, I have a whole episode talking about what you can learn from auditing your time. And that's episode 260. Shh, listen to what your calendar is telling you. Next, network. I want you to use this time to meet new clients, potential strategic partners, make connections, go out in the world and find peers and other business owners who could be part of your network moving forward in business. This gets squeezed out often, saying, I don't have the time. My head's down, I'm working, I'm putting out fires, I'm running the day-to-day of my business. And unfortunately, the networking and connection piece gets pushed out. And I would tell you, I am telling you, this is incredibly important. And so while you may have more time to initiate those relationships, build those relationships, it will be easier to nurture those relationships when you find yourself back to maybe a regular schedule or you get an influx of business. It's much easier to nurture relationships that you've already been investing in to build. And that is this time right now. Next, learn or develop skills that will help you achieve your goals. We talked about training our team members, but let's not forget about getting support for ourselves. Is there a skill set that you know that if you invested in yourself, it would make you a better business owner, CEO, leader, maybe even better in your space? This is a great time to consider hiring a coach, working on your time management skills, your productivity skills. Maybe sales is the area in which you feel the biggest gap in. You can buy a training program. You can even decide that you're going to attend a conference or a workshop. But just taking some time to say, is there a gap in my skill that if I close that gap, I would be able to show up better in my business? This one, I go into a bit deeper into this conversation about finding those gaps, identifying what the right support is to fill those gaps. In episode 57, we're going back, 57. Episode 57 is finding the right support to grow your business and to determine whether your support shows up in courses, training, masterminds, coaching, or mentorship. And it can feel a bit overwhelming. And I break all that down for you, sharing pros and cons and helping you decide what type of support might be right for you at this time in your business. All right, that is honestly not a short list, and I could have gone on and on again. I actually just started this list for you to get inspired. Maybe it is something on this list where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't count the amount of times I said, if I only had more time, I would train my team. If I only had time, I would work on my business by creating processes and systems. Whatever that is for you, your own fill in the blank, it could be nothing on my list. My invitation is that you see this as that opportunity and you seize it and you stay out of your head. You don't let the frustration or the anxiety or the worry steal this opportunity from you. Now is the time to invest in yourself. Now is the time to invest in your business and your team because you may find that you actually do have the time. Do not let this opportunity fly by and be wishing for it again in a few years or a few months. As we close out, there was one more episode that I wanted to make sure that I referenced here for you. And it's one that we just had a little bit back, but it talks to the whole conversation about this economy changing. And that's episode 273, 5 Practical Ways to Scale in Uncertain Times with Benjamin Friedman. So again, I shared an episode about flipping the script on your mindset, and I'm closing it out with a very strategic episode about how to strategically take advantage of this time. I want that for you. I want this for your business. And honestly, if I could support you with this and you want to dive deeper and more than just in these episodes, that is what I do in my coaching. This is what I coach my clients on, is how to see these opportunities, have the accountability to seize them and show up consistently. And how about even prioritizing? Well, Amber, that whole list is things that I want to do in my business. So now I don't move forward on any of them? No. Through coaching with me, whether through my group coaching program, Leverage Lab, or private coaching, Peak Performance Coaching, these are the things that I work with my clients on. Of all these options for opportunities, what is the one thing you should be focusing on right now first? And then the next thing. So if that's the type of support you're looking for, I would love to chat with you. You can find out more about ways to work with me and schedule a discovery call by heading over to amberdelagarza.com/work with me. Now, For a complete list of all the resources I mentioned in this episode, you can go to amberdelagarza.com/280 to download the free playlist. We've created a little worksheet so you could take notes. They're all linked out and named by title. We really wanted to make this easy for you so that when you heard this episode and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I do want to go deeper in a few of those areas, we wanted to make that easy for you. So head on over to amberdelagarza.com/280 to download that free playlist. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk. And I sure hope you found today's episode to be insightful and honestly encouraging you to really see this as an opportunity and not let it slip through your fingers. But I need to be straight with you. No change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So go take action. Make slower periods count for something. Be prepared for slower periods in your business so you don't passively waste extra time when you find it. So right now, what I want you to do is take a moment to think of one thing, just one thing you are committed to focusing on during the next slower period in your business when you actually find that you have the time to focus on it. In fact, I'm going to give you that moment right now. So we are going to pause and I will be back in a moment. Okay. Was that enough time for you? I hope so. Welcome back. If it wasn't, actually hit pause on today's episode. I hope that you have that one thing in your mind that you've committed to yourself to take action on. That's truly the first step in seeing a change in your business, is getting clear on what action needs to be taken. Second is showing up and taking that action. As a reminder, I will invite you to go download all the resources I mentioned in today's episode for free, no email required. Just head on over to amberdelagarza.com/280 to download the free playlist. And lastly, if you do want further support, the accountability, help in getting clarity on where you should be focusing your time, energy, and attention in your business, among many other things such as time management, leading your team, creating more balance and integration between your business and your personal life, I would love to work with you. Head on over to amberdelagarza.com/work with me to find out how we could work together and schedule a discovery call. If you've enjoyed today's episode, this would be a great episode to share with a fellow business owner. Let them know why you liked it, send it over in a text with a link, and I thank you for spreading Productivity Straight Talk to others. So that's my straight talk for today. Until next time, have a productive week.